Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Like I was saying, it's so good to see so many people here. We have a lot to cover today. Some exciting updates, some exciting projects that are going to change the face of downtown in the city. And looking forward to sharing this with you. Before we get started, though, I have to thank our legacy donors or partners, as I like to call them: Penn Medicine, Lancaster General, Franklin and Marshall, Fulton Bank, Steinman Foundation, and the High Real Estate Group. Without their support, we can't do what we do, including these important meetings. And if you have an agenda, I would also draw your attention to our visionary sponsors that are listed at the bottom of the agenda. So before we get started, I'm going to turn it over to Dave for some ground rules, and then we'll go. Dave.
Hey, thank you, Marshall. Good morning, everybody.
And Dave.
It's fantastic to see so many people. Anyway, we have some great presentations on the transformation of South Queen and Vine Street. And what we'd like to do is, first of all, we're going to be recording the session. If you have any questions during the presentation, please put them into the chat, and we'll get to them after all the presentations are completed. So looking forward to it. And I'm glad to see everybody here today, and turn it back to Marshall to get started.
Great, thanks, Dave. So we're going to start with a member spotlight. This is something that we used to do monthly when we were having our meetings in person. And on that note, we will be sending out a survey soon just to gauge when folks are comfortable meeting in one room again. One of the things that I miss about this is we usually go around the room where people have an opportunity to give updates and introduce themselves. We really don't have time to do that, and we're sort of missing that personal touch that those meetings had. So just know that you'll be hearing from us soon to see when we can meet in person again, now that we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. But as I was saying, one of the things that we were missing was our member spotlight, giving our merchants the opportunity to speak in front of the group and give a brief update and history of what brought them to Lancaster and their business. So we're happy to start that tradition again. And I'm going to turn it over to Kathleen to introduce our spotlight for today. Kathleen. You're on mute.
This is a real pleasure for me. 11th Street Market is an independent and women-owned grocery store right here in Lancaster that focuses on sustainable and healthy living. But during the pandemic, they really were a shining beacon and a lifeline to many for safe shopping and an example of best practices and transparency for following CDC guidelines with good cheer and creative practices. It is my great pleasure to introduce the owner of 11th Street Market, Patricia Haverstick.
Hi, thanks, Kathleen. Hello, everyone. I'm the owner of 11th Street Market, Trish Haverstick, and I need to share my screen with you. See my email first. There we go. Okay. Okay. Let me do one more thing here. Okay, as Kathleen just said, we are a local independent women-owned grocery store. We're located on 241 West Lemon Street, so like Lemon and Mulberry. We were founded in 2011, so that means we're celebrating 10 years in business this October. And we have a team of about 30 people, a mix of part-time and full-time. We're open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and we focus on local, organic, chemical-free, non-GMO, and fair trade items. We also offer online ordering 24 hours a day for curbside pickup or local home delivery. I did want to note too, we do offer special pricing for coffee shops and restaurants that are looking to find like some organic products for them buying off the shelf. We serve a couple of different businesses downtown. So if that interests anyone, once we get you up and going, it's usually a pretty easy process. We have everything you'd find at a traditional grocery store, including fresh fruits and vegetables, grass-fed meat and meat alternatives, dairy and dairy alternatives, pastured eggs, baked goods, bulk items, snacks, frozen food, cleaning supplies, wellness products, and supplements. And we have a full kitchen that makes coffee, drinks, tea, fresh juices, and smoothies on the spot, as well as a variety of prepared food for takeout, salad wraps and quiches. We have a big takeout cooler that we try to keep full, but it does sell. So sorry about my voice. I've been hoarse for 3 months. I've been blaming it on masks, but I don't really know what it is. And we've been wearing them for a year, so I don't know what it's about. So we never closed when the pandemic hit. We actually got busier. We quickly implemented store capacity limits and launched virtual ordering, which at first was by email, phone, or personal shoppers over FaceTime. And those were things that we wanted to do for years, but hadn't had the time or didn't take the time to put it in place. The pandemic forced us to do that in a matter of weeks. In early April of last year, we started wearing masks and requiring masks for staff and customers. We started about 2 weeks before the state required it, which made a lot of customers happy. It is still actually our store policy, despite what the CDC said. So for right now, it's still no mask, no entry. Last December, we launched our fully online store where you can shop online with your credit card and select a time for curbside pickup or local home delivery. That was a huge undertaking, and we spent most of the summer and fall getting it together. We added a couple new positions. The people who pick the curbside orders and then our outdoor concierge. We really felt like if we were going to enforce mass and capacity limits in our store, we had to have someone at the door. So they are also kind of like a customer service person. So they greet people and let the customers know our policies. And finally, communication was really important during the pandemic. We wanted to be transparent. We disclosed when we had positive cases within our staff and let the community know about our mitigation efforts. We shared the guidelines our staff were following at work to make sure that people felt safe. And when guidance changed, we updated our website and social media profiles to reflect the new rules of shopping at our store. Internal communication was also super important. We created a COVID task force so we could quickly respond. It felt like everything was changing every other day in the spring last year. So that way we could more quickly respond to the changing situation. We started doing monthly staff meetings via Zoom, and we worked on a different important point for our customers or our staff to consider if they had questions and concerns. The main reasons we were cautious because we wanted to keep our staff employed and safe. I would say that was our biggest concern. We wanted to keep our small business afloat, and we wanted our local vendors and farmers to stay afloat too. A lot of them serve restaurants too, so sometimes we heard from them that we were their only revenue stream last spring, and we were helping them stay afloat. We did not want to contribute to community spread, so we wanted to do our part. And of course, grocery stores are essential, so we wanted to continue providing quality, nutritious food to our community during the global health crisis. And this here is a screenshot of our online ordering platform. We launched that in December. Everything that's in our store you can find on here, and they're all the same prices. So if something's on sale in the store, it's on sale online too. You can select curbside delivery or curbside pickup or home delivery. You can buy gift cards, you can save items to list and more. But if you want to check that out, you can just go to our website, lemonstreetmarket.com, and click on shop online in the top right corner to get to our online store. I think Erin, our marketing manager, is adding a few of these links to the chat right now. And finally, just want to say this has been an exhausting year for grocery stores, like it's been for everyone. So please be kind to frontline workers if you encounter them. And we are surviving and thriving though, and we're still open every day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we are definitely looking forward to summer and the new growing season. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Trish.
Yeah.
So now that we are close to starting to get back to normal and festival season may be upon us again, I wanted to turn it over to Kayla from the Lancaster Office of Promotion to give an update on where they are. Kayla.
Hi, everybody. So I'll start out with Celebrate Lancaster is happening this year, just in a little bit different capacity than we're used to. We're not closing any roads this year, and we're still going to be, more in the neighborhoods. We'll have 9 music artists this year, all local, and we'll have 5 roaming trucks. So we'll have a few bands that'll be stagnant like throughout the neighborhoods and through the downtown. We have a 9-person Latin band in Ben's Park that I'm pretty excited about. So I think people will be pretty excited that we're not closing roads. We will have food trucks also in neighborhoods, but we're more focusing on brick and mortar local restaurants and trying to be intentional on our music routes, hitting those brick and mortar restaurants that people visiting and residents all kind of like dip into our neighborhoods instead of inviting food trucks from other states and other counties into the downtown. We also will have a public art community project, and we're really just focusing on our residents and celebration this year. That day, we also will open up our open seating tables, which will be in Penn Square and Ben's Park. So it'll be 2-hour BYOB tables provided by the city of Lancaster. And yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else. Permits have opened up as well as block parties. It's just me processing those. And then Andy, my director, but we are down 2 people in our office. So we're just moving a little bit slower this season. Yeah, I think that's all I have. And all the other updates you can find on our website. As we're going through the season, we're updating routes, food trucks, restaurants that are involved, all the bands, any other information you might need.
Great, thanks, Kayla. Okay, now it is my pleasure to introduce our other presenters today. And just let me start by saying that the intersection of Queen and Vine is a key intersection in the city. It's a great opportunity to really connect downtown with the South and vice versa. Great gateway. As part of the Building on Strength plan that Lancaster City Alliance has been working on with the city and other stakeholders, this intersection has always been a key site where we're looking forward to something catalytic happening there. What you're about to hear today is an update on what's really becoming the center of entrepreneurship, history and culture, residential, and really bringing new life to underutilized and vacant properties, which will mean great things for the downtown and the city and the county in general. So with us today, we'll be talking about the Southern Market Center, which is a partnership between Lancaster Equity, and we have Mike McKenna, who's the board chair of Lancaster Equity, and Willow Valley Communities, and we have John Swanson, president of Willow Valley, and assets, Melisa Biaz, who will talk about the food hall, and we're starting to bring in looking at tenanting that. You'll also hear about Mosaic, the residential tower that Willow Valley is working on across the street from Southern Market. John Swanson will provide more information on that. And I'm very happy to have Tom Ryan and Robin Sarratt of Lancaster History to give an update on the Thaddeus Stevens and Lydia Hamilton Smith historic site and museum, which they are working hard on bringing to fruition across the street adjacent to the convention center. Really, really big, exciting things happening for this intersection. Looking forward to hearing more from our presenters. What I would do, though, is I would ask that if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We will have Q&A at the end, but we will hold Q&A until after everyone has presented, if you don't mind. So with that, we're going to start with Southern Market Center. I'm going to turn over to Mike McKenna from Lancaster Equity just to give a little bit of background, and then we will get into the design and timeline. Mike, I'll turn over to you.
Sounds great. Thanks, Marshall. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you all. I'm Mike McKenna. My day job is the CEO of Tenfold, which is the new name for Tabor Community Services and Lancaster Housing Opportunity Partnership. Tenfold is easier to say than Tabor LHOP, so hopefully that becomes familiar to all of you soon. But as part of my involvement with Lancaster Equity, I've been privileged to serve as the board chair since January of 2020. And Lancaster Equity is probably not familiar to many of you, but the organizations that are part of it are. So it's a coalition of organizations focused on community development and housing in particular in the city of Lancaster, though our focus is inclusive of the county as a whole. So it's organizations like Tenfold, Assets, CAP, HDC Mid-Atlantic, SACA, LGH, Lancaster City Alliance, Community First Fund, Habitat for Humanity. The city of Lancaster has representatives, and then we have some community volunteers as well as residents from the neighborhoods that we're really focused on in our projects in the Southeast and Southwest to make sure that we have that strong community input. We've been working on 3 key projects. The flagship one, of course, is Southern Market Center that we'll talk more about in a minute. We're also working on Pocket Park on Beaver Street in coordination with the city and in general trying to align the resources and focus of all those different organizations on a few hundred, the 300 and 400 block of Beaver. And then we also have some scattered site housing in the Southwest. Lancaster Equity went in on the city's RFP for Southern Market Center with a vision that this could really be 2 things. One, a culinary focused hub for entrepreneurship and for innovation, as well as a community space that would really bridge the north side of the city and the south side of the city and be part of equitable development for all of the neighborhoods in addition to the downtown. And that vision is really coming to life in large part thanks to the partnership with the Willow Valley Communities team that really enabled us to accelerate the development of the site, and it really aligned with their commitment to the Lancaster City community. And so there'll be some pretty exciting features in the food hall that John and Melisa will talk about more in a second. There's a food hall that will have stand holders who have been supported by Assets in their entrepreneurship training program. So really budding entrepreneurs who this is their first stop, and hopefully will be able to grow their business from this starting point, as well as those who are more established. And this is going to be a great opportunity for them to continue to grow their customer base and provide some mutual training through the work that Assets is providing. There's also a number of community rooms that will be a way for neighborhood groups, cultural groups, different organizations around the community who want to use that space and really bring a different focus and different use of the space in a way that really reflects the full community. And then there's also a co-working space. And this will also be headquarters for Assets, which is great because it really will keep that sort of entrepreneurship accelerator focus. And there's some opportunities for broader workforce development thanks to some things that Willow Valley has planned as well. So it is leading into this vision that we had for a true space that was innovative, that was equitable, and that was going to be a benefit to the entire community. So I'm really thrilled to be part of it. Can't wait to actually eat there in person, as I'm sure all of you will. We're hoping for a big splash later this year, but I'll hand it over to John to talk about some of the other elements in the design and the timeline.
Hey, thank you, Mike, and good morning, everyone. My name is John Swanson. I'm CEO of Willow Valley Living. We are the developer and manager of the Willow Valley communities. I'm going to attempt here, this is always an adventure for me, to share my screen.
Nicely done.
Got it? Okay. Okay, I think I'm okay now. Nope, not yet, Jill. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Great, thank you. Okay, Mike did a great job in running down the elements of Southern Market Center. It will be a complete restoration of the building, interior, of course, and exterior. All the windows have already been replaced. If you've been by Southern Market Center, you've seen the new windows. Demo work is done inside. Entirely new HVAC systems, all the mechanical systems are being replaced. The brick is in process of being repointed. So it's a major restoration of a building that had come into some significant disrepair over the years. All of this work, the development work, the funding of the costs, and eventually the operation of the food hall will all be done by Willow Valley Communities. The centerpiece, as Mike mentioned, will be a modern best practice food hall. We have private office co-work space in the building. There'll be 2 retail spaces on Queen Street, each approximately 800 square feet. We will have some commercial office space, assets being the prime tenant in the building on the 2nd floor. And we're excited at Willow Valley Communities to have an employment office located at Southern Market Center, both for employment downtown as well as employment on our campuses in West Lampeder Township. Once the Southern Market Center is open, we will be running continuous shuttle for residents and team members between downtown and our campuses here in West Lampeder. We're looking at occupancy late this year. We're on track in terms of construction, and so that occupancy date is looking pretty good. We do have a website. You can see the link here to the website where you can get more information. And also, there's a place on the website for individuals who are interested in applying to be a stand holder in the food hall. They can do that on the website as well. This is a computer rendering of what the food hall will look like. 10 stands along the perimeter, both on the alleyway as well as on Vine Street. There is a central bar in the middle. You see the 2nd floor mezzanine areas. What you're seeing there is the private office co-work spaces. There are 17 of those, in addition to all the amenities you would expect in a co-work environment. This is a rendering of the exterior of the building. And architecturally, not much has changed here other than I'll say a more current, modernized version of the porch on the building. And as I mentioned, you can see the windows are actually black framed, so that's a bit of a difference. But essentially, the building is being restored to what it looked like at the beginning, with a few minor modifications. So with that, I will, I think, turn it over to Melissa.
Thank you, John. Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa. I am the Chief Program Officer for Assets. For those who do not know, Assets has been around for over 28 years, supporting our small business community through inclusive entrepreneurship and ethical business practices. So it was an incredible honor to be included in this process to help with the vetting process and making sure that the selection process for the vendors coming into the food hall were and are reflected of our Lancaster community. So over the past few months, we've been working tirelessly with the Lancaster equity community and John Swanson and team to really figure out what the logistics are going to look like in making that process smooth as possible. So as John mentioned, the website is up for inquiries. And what we're doing is we actually created a matrix system and an application process in which those that are inquiring about this space, we're actually spending one-on-one time with them, getting to know them and their businesses to make sure that businesses inquiring about this space are the right fit. In that, we're doing a tasting process in partnership with Willow Valley, and they'll go through a series of final interviews to get a full tour of the space. They will get a chance to talk about what their vision is. We've also identified in the process that the best applicant for the food hall will be someone who is in the startup / moving into the growth phase of their business as a food vendor. Willow Valley is hooking up these businesses. I'm telling you, like, if you have a great model, you have a very niche menu, they are coming in and help customizing the space for you. They will be helping you set up your own POS system. They will be providing a community kitchen. And when I say community kitchen, it's meant for the food hall community. So everyone will have their space available to do their cooking in-house. A lot of great features that I think will be essential in making the process equitable for each vendor to be successful as a business owner. Additionally, and to Mike's point, Assets will continue to extend our existing services to each of the vendors. So we will provide training programs specific to the needs of small business vendors, food business, industry-specific training programs, one-on-one coaching. We're also in talks with SCORE to help support the one-on-one mentoring process along the way. So it's not just a jumpstart training program, but there's intention of working with them throughout the entire process ongoing as they are successful in running their operations within the Willow Valley, the Southern Market Hall. And Assets will be there along the way, every step of the way. So thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. And will rely on this group too. There's an open process for people to apply for to be a tenant. So please visit the website and there's a form to fill out if you are interested. But please, spread the word. This is something that we want to make sure that the community is aware of. So, thanks. And if you haven't been down there to see the activity, there's signage now around the site. If you can peek in a window to see the exposed beams and trusses, if you were in there before, it is unrecognizable now in a good way. So, thanks to Lancaster Equity, thanks to Assets, and thanks to Willow Valley for bringing new life to this building. So why don't we move across the street, and I'll turn it back over to John again to talk about the Mosaic.
Hey, thank you, Marshall, and thanks, Melissa. Can you see my screen? Yep. Okay. Wow. So this is what Queen and Vine looking north is going to look like in the not too distant future. The activated southern market in the foreground, and Mosaic on the opposite corner, which is a residential tower. Mosaic will be part of the Willow Valley Communities portfolio. It is a 20-story, or will be a 20-story mixed-use building on the site of the former L&P production building. There'll be 146 age-qualified 55-plus apartments, apartment styles, two-bedroom within, three-bedroom. That's pretty much our product sweet spot in the marketplace. They range from 1,600 square feet up to 3,300 square feet. So there are some very large apartments included in the building. We generally run close to 80% couples at entry. So we're projecting total resident occupancy in the building to be somewhere around 260. Tell you a little bit about our resident demographics. Residents moving into new product that we develop, generally average age in the low 70s. Historically, we have drawn 25% of our residents from Lancaster County, 75% from outside of the county, including 50% from outside of the state of Pennsylvania. We've had 39 states represented in our communities, so we draw from a national market, and that's word of mouth referrals that take care of that for us. This is not a condominium building. It's not a straight rental. All the residents moving into Mosaic will be executing a life care contract, gives them a life lease on their apartments, and includes the service enrichment as well as coverage for any assisted living, personal care, skilled care, memory care. As needs progress, that's covered as a part of their contract. Within Lancaster County, Willow Valley Communities is unique, being the only full life care community, CCRC in the county. So all the individuals who live in Mosaic will be covered under the same type of contract that our residents enjoy here on the campus. Residents of both current residents living here in West Lampeter, as well as the residents of Mosaic will have full access to all of our amenities, both urban and suburban campus amenities. So we're anticipating a lot of activity downtown as a result of not only the residents of Mosaic, but also the residents who will be um, taking our transportation from the campus here to downtown and frequenting the businesses in the downtown district. Just some of the amenities that we have approximately 4,000 square feet of retail, along with an outdoor plaza that's located along Queen Street. There will be a ground level, street level restaurant and bar with both indoor and outdoor seating. We'll have indoor seating for about 110 and can accommodate close to 80 in our outdoor seating. We will have a rooftop restaurant bar on our 16th floor. Once again, indoor and outdoor seating on the rooftop. A ballroom with pre-function area. We'll be able to seat at tables about 240 in the ballroom. Fitness center, indoor pool, day spa. All of these amenities, this first 5 grouping of amenities, all these will be public facing. Public will have access to the restaurants, be able to book use of our ballroom, and through a membership program, enjoy the fitness center, the pool, and the day spa. There's a lot of other amenities included within the building. I mentioned the rooftop gardens and rooftop dog park. Lots of other amenities, all will be for the use of the residents. We've arranged for 250 reserved parking spaces in the adjacent parking garage, and we are projecting occupancy in the third quarter of 2025. So when we talk about benefits to the city, there are certainly obvious ones. Job creation, we're anticipating from 75 to 125 jobs created at Mosaic. Significant economic impact to the downtown merchants and restaurants as the residents of the building enjoy the convenience of shopping and dining locally. That's why they would choose an urban product over our suburban product, is the walkability of the downtown business district. And a question I get often, just to clarify, we do pay, even though Willow Valley Communities is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, we do pay real estate taxes, and we'll be paying real estate taxes on Mosaic as well. This is a headline I clipped off of an article in LNP back in February. In 2019, I commissioned Oxford Economics to do a study of the economic impact of the Willow Valley communities on the Lancaster County local area. In 2020, that study was completed based on our 2019 numbers, along with the projection of the economic impact of Mosaic on the downtown area. Tim McKeel wrote a pretty detailed article on the report, including identifying the benefits, the economic benefits of Mosaic, which was north of $12 million annually. So I just wanted to share this piece of information because of the audience today and understanding that you will have, as a merchant or a restaurateur downtown, 260 individuals with disposable income who love the convenience of shopping and dining locally. So I think you can look forward to a significant economic impact of our coming into downtown with Mosaic. So, okay, that's all I had, Marshall.
Great, John. Thanks so much, and thanks to Willow Valley Communities for this this investment. You know, and to the merchants, you know, this is the I think John touched on something that is often forgotten, and I think it's the merchant community doesn't get enough credit for creating a community where people want to make this type of investment. You know, it's because of the the small businesses and the vibrancy of our independent retailers that makes this city so walkable that folks want to invest in. So it's great that now you have the opportunity to reap the benefits of you know, of this investment. So thanks. Last but certainly not least, wanted to again introduce Tom, Ryan, and Robin Sarratt. Very exciting plans for the Thaddeus Stevens and Lydia Hamilton Smith site. You know, also on a key corner of this intersection. So, you know, again, I really love how this is really bringing entrepreneurism, residential, retail, and very important history and culture, you know, together. So with that, turn it over to Robin and Tom.
Great. Well, I want to begin by saying how excited Lancaster History is to be returning to the city. We were there for a short time while we built the building that's on the screen right now, and we loved being on West King Street, and we feel like we've been missing something ever since. We're also delighted to be able to work with Melisa, with Michael, with John, and all of the other assets that are kind of coming together at this intersection that I think is going to be one of the most dynamic in the city of Lancaster. Here on the campus of history, we serve about 40,000 people a year on site. And we do that through exhibitions, through tours of President Buchanan's home, through research library activities, and a host of lectures and other programs. That gives you some flavor for some of what we'll be bringing and doing in town. The Stevens and Smith site, as I think we all know, has been a long time in coming. The Historic Preservation Trust did a fabulous job of restoring these exteriors, and we should all be grateful to them for having done that. They also shored up the interiors of these buildings so that they're stable and they're strong, although they are an empty shell. So they give us a lot of opportunity to explore the themes of the lives of two extraordinary Americans. Thaddeus Stevens, on the one hand, who is instrumental in really creating and sustaining what's been referred to as the Second Great American Revolution, which was the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments that radically changed the way law is applied in the country. And Lydia Hamilton Smith, this extraordinary woman of color in the mid-19th century, a property owner in Lancaster, ran and owned a hotel in Washington, D.C., and started a hotel in Philadelphia. There are remarkable stories to tease out of the lives of these two individuals at a moment when America is ready to kind of really mine the richness of the legacies of these two folks. In addition to these two remarkable people, we were able to bring to Lancaster 25 extraordinary scholars from around the country for 2.5 days in 2019, just before things went south. And with that group, we explored and dug into the rich interpretive themes that we will be exploring at the site. You're just seeing a few of them here, and I'm not going to go through them individually, but they cover everything from those amendments to the Constitution to Underground Railroad. We weave into that the Christianity resistance. There's also the history of education in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that Thaddeus Stevens was a strong supporter of, and in fact ensured its survival. There are secondary themes that we're not even sharing here, and there are a series of very clear guiding principles. Part of our goal is to really knit this institution into the fabric of the community so that it's not really a standalone, but it's really a place for community gathering and community activity. And I'll let Robin kind of jump into some of that as she shares some of the other aspects of the project. And then we'd love to have some time for questions if we can at the end.
Thanks, Tom. We just thought we'd really quickly give you a little bit of information about some of the design partners who we'll be working with. We have contracted with Centerbrook Architects, who designed our campus of history facilities. But importantly and excitingly today, we wanted just to mention that Ralph Applebaum Associates is going to be coming on board as our exhibition designer. If you are a museum goer, you are likely to have set foot in one of the many museums that RAA designed. Their first major national project was the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. Their most recent highly notable project is the new National Museum of African American History and Culture, also in Washington, D.C. If you haven't been, it is an amazing place. And their current project that we keep geeking out on with them is that they're doing the design work for the Obama Presidential Center Museum in Chicago. And so they bring with them an enormous diversity of skills and talents and perspectives, connections. But we went through an extensive process to arrive at this decision for our exhibit designer. And out of 30 firms, these folks were above and beyond in every way. And so we're just thrilled to have them on board as our key partner. To their credit, what I'm going to show you four very preliminary renderings of some of the spaces. Because of COVID, they never have had a chance to set site on the in Lancaster, much less on the grounds of the Stevenson Smith site. So these are preliminary. They are going to be engaging with us in an extensive design process. So for those of you that may know this site well, and you think, I don't think that ramp is actually going to work at that angle. Yeah, don't get into the details with these images. We'll be working out so many of them in the forthcoming months. But this is just a sampling of some of their spatial ideas. That scene that Tom showed you with the excavated cistern below and behind the Stevenson Smith properties, where you can look in through the Commons on Vine lobby, is this massive 10,000 square foot exhibition space for contemporary exhibits that can really tie together stories that are relevant to our everyday lives now, and also that can lead into a space you probably won't have seen yet, but that's very exciting and a really interesting place to explore real stories of people who we know participated in and further championed work with the Underground Railroad. So there are all of these ties to be made, not just between the lives of Stevenson Smith and Lancaster County, but all of these other Lancastrians and other Americans who really helped to further, as Tom said, sort of the second founding of America and make some strides in civil rights. We're going through all of these very quickly. So what we aren't really showing you are some of the renderings of what will be very traditional historic house space. One of our board members was concerned in seeing these and thought, oh, we're not going to do anything with the historic fabric of the buildings. Of course we are, and we can't wait to do that part. This is just a sampling. And one of the things we are happy to be able to illustrate with these is a community space, that there will be a place for people to gather, conversations to happen, research to take place, neighborhood history, genealogical research, that sort of thing. And so we really look forward to an inclusive design process that will lead us to that. Just very quickly, some of our next steps. This is an ongoing process right now. This community engagement piece is something we've been really interested in maintaining throughout the design process. So after I stop talking, I'm going to put both Tom and my email addresses in the chat function. And if any of you are interested in being part of our community engagement team, we welcome that. We'll probably be trying to get together maybe by Zoom for our next meeting sometime this summer, and then begin having meetings in person, hopefully in the fall. And at the same time that we're working on community feedback and engagement, we are going through the traditional steps of a capital campaign feasibility study, enacting a business plan so that we understand fully what our pro forma costs will be. We are beginning some high-level fundraising right now that will be ongoing, presumably for the next many months. And when we begin the exhibition and architectural design process sometime around August, it's our anticipated time frame will be about 36 months for all of that to come to fruition. So we went through that as quickly as we could, just knowing our time limitations this morning, but we are very open to any questions that you all may have.
Great. Robin, Tom, wow. Yeah, it's the first that I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen this. So exciting for this, for the properties in this intersection. So thank you. Why don't we open it up to questions, comments? And I see a few in the chat, but everyone, please feel free to continue to do that in the chat or raise your hand. But why don't we start with these? There's a question about bicycle parking inside Southern Market. John.
Yep. So we don't have any accommodation at this point in time inside the building for bicycle parking, but it is on our list of items to address. So we know we need to make accommodation for that. That's at an appropriate place, proximity to the building. So on our radar.
The Commonweal is happy to assist in procurement and any consultation in general when it comes to bicycle amenities.
Okay, thank you.
See, any other questions, reactions?
Tom and Robin, thanks so much for those exciting updates on the museum and the historical site. Robin, you mentioned a timeline of about 36 months. Do you anticipate construction would resume after that 36-month time frame, or within that?
That's within that. And that is 36 uninterrupted months. So, presuming that there's not another massive catastrophic interruption of our daily lives.
Right. Yes, I think you could interpret, expect, Jeremy, would be within 36 months, we ought to be cutting a ribbon and welcoming folks to the door.
Very, very exciting. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
One of the things that I really love to hear from folks about, whether it's at the community engagement sessions, and we'll probably have 3 of those over the course of the summer, or whether it's just in emails that you reach out to Robin or me with, what are some of the ideas that you have for how the Stevens and Smith Historic Site and Museum can have meaningful connection with businesses in the city, with residences in the city, with other nonprofit organizations. We've got a long list of folks that we've already reached out to, but we really want to rely on your experience in town with helping us to kind of move the project along.
I think it would be wonderful if you partnered with School District of Lancaster, especially with middle school and elementary school students, to help them get a real sense of the history that they're fortunate enough to live with every day in their own city.
Thank you, Kathleen. We've already begun those conversations. We're also working with folks at the school district for the classroom museum that they have on South Prince Street. So we're going to be looking to work very closely especially with elementary and high school level students, to get them into the site, on the site, and exploring the site, and kind of the ripples of activity that happen in and around the whole center of the city, and the way the themes of the museum kind of will reach out into the kind of activity and history within the community.
That's wonderful. I think there's nothing more important than to light that fire of interest and curiosity when children are young.
Yeah, yeah.
Tom, it seems like there's a great opportunity perhaps for the site museum to help in promoting our person of color owned businesses, food establishments, et cetera.
No question. You know, as we look to staffing this site, we're going to be really holding ourselves accountable for the efforts that we have begun to make or to build on in terms of diversity on the staff level. I'm really pleased to be able to say that at the board level, we've been able to begin that transition. Of 23 members, we have 6 people who are Black or brown, and have had a real impact on the direction of the organization. And so absolutely right on.
Martha, thank you both for both of your questions and comments in the chat function about whether or not gender equity and equality will be part of the project. Absolutely. And as you note, that with Lydia as a role model for women-owned businesses at a moment where there were very few role models to really be able to highlight. There's a great story to tell. One of our first gifts that's already come into this project is to create an endowment for educational programming specifically about gender and racial equity. So we're headed in the right direction.
That's wonderful. And I think especially with assets being right across the street, it's a tremendous opportunity for collaboration.
No
I'll
doubt.
tell you, with assets across the street, no question. I mean, we don't really even have to worry about food service at our site. That's taken care of. When I look at what Mosaic is going to become, I think we're going to have a remarkable built-in opportunity for volunteers to help run the operation and serve as guides through the facility. I've also talked to John Swanson about what a remarkable opportunity I think Mosaic offers to attract a diverse Black and brown retirement segment into our community who can live in a vibrant city across from a museum that might really speak to their values and their interests. So there's a lot of really great energy happening right now on that intersection.
Excellent. It's quite a concentrated investment over multiple years, which is very exciting to see. And it sounds like it's being coordinated, which is also very impressive.
I am hoping that Mosaic will also serve as an attractive investment for residences for our LGBTQ community of seniors. And they are, that would be also a wonderful boost for our economy.
Yeah.
Amen.
I was thinking it'd be really interesting to see you partner up with organizations such as Leadership Lancaster to help with the professional development, as well as there's a lot of DEI initiative trainings that are happening right now, especially with the Chamber Community Foundation, to make your spot part of that training initiative, especially with anything related to small business educations. So
that's a great suggestion. And Robin, I wonder, I know we're running late on time here, but if you want to say a word about accessibility and the way we're taking a radical approach to that at this site in light of Thaddeus Stevens' own challenges in his life.
Right.
Yeah, it's, anybody who goes to historic site museums, you understand from your experience how limited accessibility can be. And necessarily that's usually because the existing historic framework has just limited capacity for putting in elevators or making sure that true sort of radical accessibility is an option. We have a clean slate. So we have this opportunity to create not only these contemporary interpretive galleries, but to create an historic space, to recreate historic rooms and that sense of past and time, but do it in a way that takes accessibility into consideration wholly and from the outset. So last fall, actually, we were the case study for a semester-long grad studies program on designing museums for accessibility through the Cooperstown program in New York, and they delivered us 170 pages worth of recommendations on how accessibility can be front and center in everything from the facilities to the websites to the programs to content, which is really exciting. And I'll just say, piggybacking on the conversation about partners in the community, I know Stacy Blake is on this. We've already had some great conversations, not just with Stacy, but with Jasmine King about down the line, how can we tie in with the work they're doing with the Center for Racial and Gender Equity? So, we're really lucky in Lancaster that there are all of these partnerships and threads that we can start to knit together. And I think the opportunities are just huge.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone.
Marshall, I'd like to introduce two individuals I think are still on the Zoom call this morning. Chris Ballantyne is our community engagement head for us in Lancaster City. So Chris has been reaching out to organizations around the city, individuals, neighbors, neighborhood groups, and working together with them to understand their issues in the city, and also allowing us to communicate some of the things we're doing. And Mary Ellen Davis, I saw her pop up earlier. She is our general manager of Southern Market. And if you have any questions regarding Southern Market, you can certainly reach out to Mary Ellen as well as myself. Chris is also a resource for individuals to reach out to.
Great, thanks, John. And we can include their contact information in the notes when we get them out shortly. Yeah, I see Mary Ellen. I think I saw Chris.
Yeah, Chris is here.
So, hey, Chris.
Hello, Mary Ellen.
Hey, everybody.
Well, if there are no more questions, again, I want to thank everyone who presented today. I mean, this really is a huge and transformative for the city. Looking so forward to this and the impact that it's going to make. And Robin, you touched on this too. The partnership and the coordination that is occurring here, is representative of what we see a lot, in the city and the county. But, with it happening at this intersection, I mean, the impact is just going to be like, tenfold. There you go, Mike.
Nice
Wow. Full circle.
Hence the new name.
So again, thank you everyone for participating. Thank you for this investment. It has not gone unnoticed. And again, it's great that we're adding to a community that our merchants here have played a great role in making so vibrant. So thank you all.
Great.
Thanks, Marshall.
Thank you, Marshall.
Before we go, Kathleen, do you want to do a quick member intra-marketing update?
I can do that. We discussed the special presentation that we'll have for our June merchant meeting on June 16th. It's going to be discussing the benefits of the American Rescue Plan, especially the PPP loan, and how you can be setting up your small business, because so many of our merchants have received PPP loans, so that when the government comes back about forgiveness, you are prepared with the proper records. And that will be presented by James Kinney of People's Bank. Our member spotlight for June will be PCP Network, the Culture Professional, presented by Marquise Lupton. If anyone has suggestions for what they'd like to see in a special presentation, please feel free to reach out to us at info@teamlanc.org. We delivered two welcome packets to two new businesses this month. Longevity Lancaster, a fitness studio at 301 North Queen Street in the lower level, and Nourish Salon and Blow Dry Suite at 128 East Grant Street. Well, we don't have the exact dates, but it's happening in July, Lancaster City Indie Retail Week 2021. If there are any retailers or merchants here that would like to participate, well, actually anyone that would like to participate in coordinating and on this volunteer committee, please contact us. The first meeting will be next Wednesday, June 26th from 1 to 2 p.m. And that would be the same email address, info@teamlanc.org. One of the issues that came up was discussing the rates for parking. One of the restaurants was looking at offering parking as part of a compensation package in order to stay competitive when hiring employees, with the market being so tight right now. And our committee will be discussing next month possible opportunities for resuming in-person meetings for the MIM committee. And that's all I have, Marshall.
Great, thanks, Kathleen. Finally, and then there will be a few minutes for open dialogue, but for those businesses that are in the CRIS, this is your reminder that it is CRIS reporting time. So I think many of you, if you're in the CRIS, you know that you are, but I don't know if Dina is still on. Guessing not. If you are in the CRIS, this is just a reminder that there is help on your reporting, and Dina, who many of you already know, will be scheduling appointments. You can see the card up on the screen, but she'll be housed at 115 East King, our building, this year, and is also willing to come to your business to help with your reporting. So to make it as easy as possible for you to comply. So we'll also have this information out with the minutes, but just wanted to give everyone the opportunity to make an appointment to to make it easy on yourself. We don't need that, please.
Okay.
Thanks. We have 3 minutes. Anything for open dialogue? The one thing I would add, though, is again, we are looking for tenants for Southern Market. So just a reminder out there, if you know folks, please direct them to the website so they can sign up to get more information on that. Anything else for the good of the order from anyone?
Marshall, if I can, I just want to add with the Southern Market Center website, we also have a plugin for various languages, English, Spanish, I think Vietnamese, Chinese, so language shouldn't be a barrier for that.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris.
I just wanted to put out there that Slow Ride Lancaster is coming back. Slow Ride Lancaster is not an entity of the Commonweal, first and foremost, but it is coming back, and it is the fourth Friday at 7 p.m. We are changing, by we, I mean the entity that runs Slow Ride Lancaster is changing where it leaves from. It used to leave from Binns Park, but with all the construction, etc., we've decided to move the start and ending location out to Buchanan Park. So it's a great time to get on your bicycle and to get comfortable with city riding and also meet other fun folks.
Adriana, do you have that on social media yet?
I will.
Okay. Do you want to just text me when you do, and that way we can share it?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Great. Anything else?
Great meeting today.
Trish just reminded us all, Friday is Bike to Work Day.
Kevin, were you going to say something?
Yeah, great meeting today.
Oh, thanks, Evan. All right, everyone. Enjoy this great weekend, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.